Welcome, 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 everyone, to the Women's Empower Network. I am so excited to have Stacey with us today, and I think it's going to be a very interesting conversation. So, welcome, Stacey.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, I always start off with, so we can get to know you a little bit better. If you tell us a little bit about your story and journey that led you to what you're passionate about today.
Oh gosh, lots of interesting spiritual awakenings, I would say. I was like a seeker from young. I like started with religion and then like got down a rabbit hole with that and then found like it just didn't work for me. And then I totally got away from everything and anything, got really into addiction with alcohol and even like um lots of personal losses and different things. And then I had some soul wake up calls and different relationships that didn't work and divorce and all sorts of stuff. And then the Akashic Records found me and then uh, started realizing that I was being guided. And I would get intuitive hits like from the other side, like mediumship type things, but I didn't like, I'd see dead people, as they say. And then, so I'd get messages to deliver to people, but as time went on, I started realizing, oh, I can fine tune this stuff, and then uh, really kind of went into that and started getting into like learning more about my psychic skills and the Akashic records and different things, and now have full on. Now I'm an Akashic record soul practitioner, like a guide, just allowing people to, if their soul calls them to be guided, I'm just someone to help them remember who they are. I'm I I feel that we're already born whole, that we don't need a lot of healing per se. I don't want us to get stuck in that healing loop. Um, there is some healing, but it's a lot of remembering. So
I love, love, love this conversation, and my favorite word is synchronicity. Um, because I was just yesterday thinking about that, that we create problems to solve them, that, that they don't exist other than that we manifest them, so that coincides exactly what you're saying is to remember this wholeness. So, and we were just talking before we came on live about, for those of the audience who don't know what Akashic Records are, uh, would you explain that for us?
yeah, sure. So the Akashic Records are like your soul's library. It's the library. It has every memory or every thought you've ever thought. It has every lifetime you've ever lived. I mean, from the spark from every creation. It connects you with your guardians, the masters, teachers, loved ones. So it connects with all potentials, like for um you can receive information for like potentials, like what if I choose this, what would the outcomes be, things like that. It also connects you with like past lives or patterns, or like what you came into this lifetime to learn, or oh, how does that coincide with a former life, what did take from that one. I mean, it's wild.
It really is. It really is. We were making jokes about, the first time I ever heard about it in the early 90s, and talking to a woman on the phone and holding it away from my ear because it seemed so out there to me at the time. And how much has changed, and not that, in a pretty short period of time. Um, I remember too when I had mine, she talked about like healing karma. It's your
Oh yeah, like so I mean, karma is just, oh gosh, I mean, it's just an energy. It's just an energy. I find it really interesting because like I've even seen into like past lifetimes that like for instance, I have weight issues or whatever. And uh like even though like I've lost a bunch of weight, my body will still hold on to weight because it's dealing with past lifetime stuff still. And I'm still working with my guardians or the Akashic Records to go, is this something that I have to continue to perpetuate? Like, like with the Akashic Records, what I found is you just need to go in there and ask the correct questions. I mean, they'll give you the answers, but you just need to figure out what to ask.
Right.
And
The
so,
quality of the answer is directly related to the quality of the question.
absolutely. And so I wonder in my you know, it's like I have a feeling that I don't have to perpetuate. I mean, just this weekend, learning more and more that, like doing, like realizing in a past life that I, um, was living on the streets, like in the flappers in the 30s, and with children and uh, starving. And so my body in this lifetime feels that I'm starving, even though I have plenty. And so it's like, oh, okay, now I've got to figure out some good questions to like, can we, you know, course correct in this lifetime?
I love that. Well, and it seems like that's part of like your journey and learning, and maybe that's just one small aspect um, on how we carry things forward. But then it goes back to what you said originally too. You know that we're free spirits to create, to be creators. Um, and I was talking about before we came on about how we create our own problems to solve. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's interesting because then even the ones that, yeah, it's interesting because even the ones that we think are like so detrimental are really fascinating when we move beyond that and we go, oh, wow. Like even just not that long ago, I had a relationship where I had a breakup and I almost like I can see the bigger picture and it's like my body needs to catch up to what I know um, from like a spiritual level of it. But and that's really interesting because doing all this shadow work or bringing things to light and within the body as well, within the records for me has been profound and it's so much quicker and unreal. Like what I'm hearing is I'm getting like lifetimes worth of work done in like weeks. So,
Right. And you mentioned something in there called shadow work. Can you tell us a little more, bit more about what shadow work is?
yeah, it's basically there's so many times like, well, we have different bodies. We have an emotional body, we have a mental body, we have an ego body, we have different parts. We have an angry part. We have different parts within our being. And so it's working with those different parts or those different shadow aspects of ourself and it's really sitting with them and the more that we're able to sit with them, then they don't react. They don't create those relationships where we need to learn these hard lessons. We don't need to create abandonment. we don't need to we don't have these subconscious programs running, basically. So,
That's interesting. What's coming to mind too, and what we were talking about earlier, is referring to the Akashic Records, is it and going through these experiences to learn things, um, is the ability to take a giant step back. We get so caught up in our role that we're playing, and caught up in the emotions of that role and the interactions. What was it? Uh, Albert Einstein. It's like this reality um, is an illusion, albeit that it seems real. Um, and we act out accordingly. And you were talking about just a remembering that we already are whole. That was the point I was like trying to remember to get to, is that we're already whole and complete, and there's nothing wrong with us.
oh, yeah. Well, yeah. And that's the biggest thing for me on my whole journey. It's like deciphering through the old programs that where where we were told to be quiet as children. Um, and so then we replay that program in our minds, like, oh, be quiet. Like, I don't have time to feel you emotion. I don't have time for this. And we stuff it. And instead, if we just sit with it, an emotion really only lasts 90 seconds. And you go
Right.
in and you feel it and you give it voice, the less likely it is to recreate itself, to be heard, because it's like, oh, well, you've heard me. Now I don't need to call forth a situation where you're getting a reaction from me so that you make me see you, you know?
That's a beautiful explanation. And that just ties into what I was saying earlier about, we creating our own problems to solve. And I love that. If you just sit with the emotion without a story, I would imagine, and
Yeah.
just feel it, then you don't
Yeah.
have to repeat it again.
Yeah. Well, goodness sakes, like here I am, 51, and then doing the breakup thing. And all of a sudden, I realize everything that I feel in, any situation with anyone is just a reflection for me that I have somewhere that I'm feeling abandoned, for instance. And so I went, oh crap, where am I abandoning myself? And I started asking myself. And I do it with the records, and the guardians are really good at like helping me ask the questions because I'll be like, what question do I ask? And then where do I move from here? Like I'm stuck. But then they're like, you're not stuck. Just continue, just feel it. And then all of a sudden, pictures will come to mind. And uh then just like going with that and then realizing, with that child or that image. And then what's interesting is since doing all that work, the clients that end up coming to me for readings or different things, it tends to be all the stuff, well, obviously, I'm sure you know about all this, that it's always the stuff that you have you know I hate to say mastered, but that you're in the process of mastering, or you know.
Yeah,
So,
and it's funny, I have it right here on a post-it note. It says, "We don't see reality as it is. We see reality as we are."
yes.
You
Yeah.
know, and that's kind of a confusing concept if you think life is happening to you versus for you. Um, it we really, like we talked, with Albert Einstein, that what we're experiencing seems pretty darn real and seems out of my control. Why is this always happening to me? And it's
Oh, yeah. I'm actually eager, very eager to see what new like I'm really eager to get reaction in my body, in my system, because that gives me opportunity to go, oh, what haven't I dealt with now? You know? And so it's like, oh, universe, who do you want to bring forth in my space? To yeah, what lesson now? I'm actually eager.
It's really funny. It's the timing of this yard sale gave me a flashback to the timing of something that I experienced 25 years ago. It wasn't the specifics that were the same, it was the patterns surrounding the events. And it had me musing. And I'm like, I didn't time that very well. And again, I didn't time this very well. I just arbitrarily picked a date to do this, but it wasn't the best date to do it. And then I created a what do you call it? Like a deadline for myself, because I had another deadline that had I taken a moment to think it through, I would have recognized, oh, I should wait until after this deadline before I go do that yard sale. But I did a similar pattern. And just to, it's really subtle to be able to catch these things or to see our own habits that because it's so close to us, we can't see it sometimes, probably a lot of times.
Oh yeah, for sure. And isn't it interesting that our body, when it finds like, and it's cool that you recognize that in the safety, like it's like our bodies are bringing things up, and I believe that um, as we are integrating, is what I believe and feel that it's more of an integration process now of the body, mind, and spirit. And I really feel it's more about the body coming online. And so your body is feeling safe to bring that up and you're listening to it. And so that's really cool.
Well, and the other big puzzle piece to me is I'm not making myself wrong.
Uh,
It's it's without judgment. It's just an observation. Oh, isn't this curious? Maybe I
yeah,
want to do something a little more differently in the future. You know, rather than what we might typically do is beat ourselves up and oh, I'm never going to learn this, or I did it again with the same relationship. Whatever it
yeah,
is, if
yeah.
we can be more kind to ourselves and just notice we're all on this endless journey of becoming.
Absolutely. And I find it fascinating too, where, like, for instance, for me, like the last few times that I had like drinking ever come up for me, it was, oh, like the body was having a hard time with anxiety, and I chose to drink to subside the anxiety, but I didn't go into the beat up space, so it didn't sit into like the the anxiety of fear of like, oh, I'm never like, oh, I'm so bad, sick and wrong. It was like, oh, wow, I'm going through an expansion. Because that was like one of the times was like, oh my gosh, the last time I ever drank was all of a sudden I got all my clairs. Like I got my hearing, the all of it. And it was like, oh, okay, well, that was cool.
I love
Okay, that
that.
was so cool. I'm so glad I didn't realize it. And thank goodness, like now I don't have to beat myself up over it. And it doesn't mean I have to drink anymore, and um I find it fascinating on that, like, because I don't crave alcohol at all.
Oh,
And then,
beautiful.
yeah, so um, it's all when we give ourselves an allowance and grace, then we have opportunity to learn from the lesson quicker, and they're much more delightful. So,
Yeah, so what I'm hearing too is one of the secrets is don't medicate yourself when emotions come up. Just sit with them, because And there's, a gazillion ways we do that. Some people are shopaholics, or we eat too much, or we eat the wrong things, or, like you, we turn to alcohol or cigarettes or sex, or,
Yeah.
we have a lot of choices,
Yeah, we do.
but trying not to run away from it and just sit with it. And like you said, it lasts what, 90 seconds if you just sit with it.
Right. Yeah. Seriously, that's what's been going like for me. Yeah, when I start to feel something uncomfortable, it's like, okay, who needs to be heard?
Right. That's beautiful. So how can somebody work with you? How can they get in touch with you?
So you can go to my website. It's the u-n-iverse.com, or you can reach out to me 208 I'm here in Boise, Idaho. I can do sessions over um I don't have Zoom yet, but I do it over Messenger. I'm considering doing Zoom. Figure that one out. I can do it over the phone and I can do it in person. So,
That's beautiful. So tell us what a typical session, is there like a pattern to it, or are they all different?
um, like I do different sessions. Sometimes people like to go into the like I love to do Akashic Records sessions. People can come in and ask questions, and they could ask their guardians. So we just get into I'll get their permission to go into their records and go into their, and we just start asking the guardians questions, and then they'll give them a plan. They'll give them steps if they're looking for specific steps. If someone wants a mediumship session, we can do that. It's interesting because sometimes, like, I'll do an Akashic Records session with someone, and all of a sudden their mom pops in, and it's interesting because that person will actually want to be like, I'm so sorry, I did this, and that created this, and then there creates some closure. It's really interesting. It's fascinating. I also do energy transformation where I can go into your body. I can feel into someone's body and feel where, like, they have like blockages, or like a chakra isn't running smoothly, and we can go in and work with that and pull out, different things. So, yeah, just many different sessions. Or if they want to learn how to be a psychic, I can teach that. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow, beautiful. Well, I just want to let the audience know that we'll be sure to put Stacey's information down in the comments so you can connect with her if you're resonating energetically and verbally, audibly, what she's sharing with us today. So before we go, is there any parting words of wisdom you would like to share?
Ah, just like feel, feel, just and the more that you can sit with your feelings and like less reaction to it, like our old programming, just allowing and giving it space, allowing it to be heard, then the less chatter it brings up for us. So,
Wow. Yeah. So being more of a observer rather than reacting.
yeah, definitely. And the Akashic records are just absolutely amazing to work in and finding out information about yourself.
Well, that's so beautiful. Well, like I said, if you really resonate with Stacy, I, suggest and offer you to reach out to her and connect with her. And I'm sure she would be happy to have a clarity call with you to see if you're a right fit. And
Yeah.
Stacy, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this. This was a great opportunity. So wonderful to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Absolutely. I'm so glad you're here.